Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice for Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a look at cool energy. You see, I recently did a video about the Plasma Landerus, where I discussed why it was so expensive, why it was good, etc. And that video seemed to go down quite well. People said nice things, and they said, Wossy, can we have some more of these kind of videos? And then I was chatting to my good friend Tommy Roberts the other day, and he said, Ross, why have you never made a video about cool energy? I said, Tommy, good point. Let's make a video about cool energy. Now, cool energy was a weird kind of card that has only ever had a single print back in Majestic Dawn, which came around in May 2008. That's exactly 11 years ago for anyone still paying attention. That's kind of obscure, right? One card got printed once many years ago. Here's the thing, though. If you were playing in that format, and we did actually have a Majestic Dawn on format, which means this was essentially tournament legal for the longest possible time, you'll remember this card. This card was absolutely amazing, and it saw a huge amount of play. It was legal for 3 World Championships, 2008, 2009, 2010, and it got printed in winning decks for the World Championships all 3 years. That's pretty gosh darn great. So what did it actually do? Well, it read, and it was an energy, so you attach it to the Pokemon and essentially give the Pokemon this ability. Cool Energy provides colorless energy. Once during your turn, if the Pokemon Cool Energy is attached to as your active Pokemon, you may search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench. If you do, shuffle your deck and your turn ends. Cool. It basically turned any Pokemon into a really good Cool for Family Pokemon. So why do I think this would see a lot of play if it was released today? Even though we've got the Dunsparce from Celestial Storm. Now, the Dunsparce from Celestial Storm searches for 3 basic Pokemon, puts them on your bench, and then you can even switch to the bench if you wish. Though post-rotation, when we're losing a lot of Pokemon search options, maybe this will see a lot more play. Here's the gigantic difference between Cool Energy and a Pokemon like Dunsparce. What are you going to do afterwards? Because with Dunsparce, you've attached your energy for the turn, you've got your basics out. That's it. Ooh, 10 damage, flip a coin paralysis. No Dunsparce, no. Whereas Cool Energy, attach it to literally any Pokemon, and now you've got an energy attached to them so that next turn, you can go about getting more energy on and starting to attack. Because of course at this point it must be pointed out that the Pokemon you're getting here go straight onto the bench, which means they are on the bench at the beginning of your next turn, which means that they can be immediately evolved up into something else. And that's a big difference, ladies and gentlemen. That makes a big, big difference. And Cool Energy was amazing in evolution decks. Because you see, as great as Cool Energy was, and it was, and as much play as it saw, and it did, the one deck it never really found a niche in was, well, there were a couple of decks, but the main deck it never really found its niche in was SP. Things like Garchomp, Luxchomp as it were. And the reason is extremely simple. They were basic decks. They just got their basic Pokemon. Now it helped that they had cards like SP Radar to try and search out those SP Pokemon. But they just didn't need to evolve. They could just get the cards as and when they needed them, so it was never as good. Whereas in evolving decks, what you really want to do is get a couple of other basics out. Because one of 2 things is going to happen. Either the Pokemon with Cool Energy gets KO'd, but that's okay, because you've still got another couple basics, or it doesn't, and then you get to keep the energy. Because the other thing is, in these evolution decks, you generally didn't have a great turn 1 option anyway. So it didn't matter spending a turn using Cool Energy. Remember, it did end your turn to do so. So, let's have a look at the kind of decks in which it did well. So one of the decks where it did very well was the senior winning deck in 2008. Bearing in mind, this was 3 months after it was released. 3 months it took. And the senior winning deck was Empoleon. Well, of course it was. Because Empoleon played, wait for it, Empoleon. And then, it did play Dusknoir, to be fair. And it played Claydol. So basically what it did was it played a whole bunch of evolution Pokemon. So the number one goal straight off the bat was to get all of your Pokemon out. That was what you wanted to do. And look, at the time we had Roseanne's Research, and Roseanne's Research was a great card that searched for 2 in any combination of basic Pokemon and basic energy. But the thing is, when you're playing an Empoleon deck and you want Claydol and you want Dusknoir and all of that, 2 basics isn't enough. So Roseanne's gets you 2 basics and Cool Energy gets you 2 basics. It was cool. Also, the winning deck in 2008, the World Championship winning deck, was Jason Klaczynski's Psychic Lock deck, Gardevoir Gallade. Yeah, it played a full 4 Cool Energy. 4 Cool Energy. 3 months after the card was legal for tournament play, it went and won the World Championships. And the reason, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly the same as what I've been saying for the past 5 minutes. You needed to get your basics. You didn't have any other real plans early on in the game, so you used this to make sure you had loads of basics out, and then you set up from turn 2, got rolling, won the game. It really was that gosh darn good. Now, if we skip forward to 2009, we did see it again in the senior division. Now, the senior world champion didn't have his deck printed that year, unfortunately, but we did see it featured in the junior finalist deck, which was Gengar Nidoqueen. It played 3 copies of Cool Energy, and again, it's everything we're expecting. You've got the Stage 2 Gengar, you've got the Stage 2 Nidoqueen, and what you really need to do here is get both those Stage 2s going. You can't get the Stage 2s going until you get your basics out, so this helps out quite nicely. Now, the winning Masters deck that year didn't actually play Cool Energy, and the reason was extremely simple. It was Beedrill. Now, I have done a video about Beedrill. I'll pop a link to that in the description. But basically, Beedrill was a super consistent deck. And the entire point of it was to attack for 1 single grass energy. And the problem was, Cool Energy isn't grass energy. So we had to essentially just let it go and not play it because the grass energy was too important. And then if we flick forward to 2010, which was the last year it was legal for tournament play, it didn't win Worlds because Luxchomp won Worlds, and Luxchomp doesn't play Cool Energy. But the second place deck, which was piloted by Michael Pramwat, and if you are familiar with the 2010 World Championships, you should be familiar with the fact that Michael only lost because his opponent top-decked Uxie Level X at the perfect time. That can happen. Was Gardevoir Gallade. It came back. 2 years later, it came back. And once again, even though it was 2 years later, we see Cool Energy. So Cool Energy repped at the World Championships every year it was legal. You had the odd deck like Beedrill that didn't play it. Jumpluff would be another example. Towards the end of its lifespan, Jumpluff came along, and Jumpluff again just wanted to play, weirdly again, basic grass energy. But outside of that and SP, this was a staple in almost every deck. It was phenomenal. And if it came out nowadays, I believe it would see a huge amount of play. Because you could attach it to a Pokemon and then get ready to evolve and start smashing the following turn. Bearing in mind we've got triple acceleration energy now, how cool would it be to put a Cool Energy on your basic, evolve up into something with a huge energy cost, maybe, I don't know, the new Slacking, which looks so good, it does 200 damage. Or indeed, the new Dragonite, which does 270, and all you would need to do would be to attach a triple acceleration energy, and all of a sudden, you can be doing huge damage. I think it would be great. And this is backed up in the price of it. If we look at TCG Player, you still cannot pick it up for $10. And if we go over to Troll and Toad, you can pick it up for just $8. Bearing in mind, ladies and gentlemen, to be fair, there's only actually one of them. Then you've got to go back up to $10. So you can have one for less than $10 if you really want it. But bearing in mind, this isn't legal in Standard. And this isn't legal in Expanded. So people are only buying this to play in old formats. It's that good. And believe me, if this ever gets a reprint, it will go straight into almost every Evolution deck. So, that's Cool Energy. It's weirdly expensive. It was a huge staple. We got one copy 11 years ago and have never seen it since. And if it came out now, it would be amazing. So I want to know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think it would be good if it came out nowadays? And tell me your thoughts on it. Go nuts, ladies and gentlemen. But please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about games that don't even have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.